Hello fellow travellers, and welcome once again to another episode of Wolters World. I'm Mark Walter and I'm here in Tokyo, Japan on location, and right behind me there of course is the Tokyo Tower, a famous landmark in this great city. Now today I've got the 5 things you're going to love and the 5 things you're going to hate about visiting Japan. And you know the drill, I always start with the negative stuff first. So let's get started. The first thing is that Japan is an extremely dangerous place. You thought Australia was bad, this is way worse. The monkeys and the deer are wild and they'll attack you. There are poisonous snakes and insects as well that will kill you. You will die, it's a certainty. Now, they've also got even a man-eating banana at Tokyo Tower. So, this is extremely dangerous. Now, there are some positives which may still cause you to want to come here, but you're going to have to be really, really careful. The second thing you're not going to like about Japan is there are not enough McDonald's. When Americans travel overseas and they're in another foreign country, particularly one with a rich cuisine, what do Americans do? Of course, they head for the local Golden Arches, where there's food that they actually feel safe about eating. Now, whilst there are some in tourist areas, the fact is there isn't one in every little small town in Japan, and that's a huge travesty. The third thing you're going to hate about visiting Japan is the peculiar beliefs of the locals. And let me give you an example. One thing I've been told since I've come here is not to have too many hot onsen baths. The locals say that if I do, my lovely blonde hair will all fall out, which would be an absolute travesty. Of course, being a well-educated Western man, I know that that's a load of nonsense and that nothing of the sort will happen at all. So I'm going to keep on having my hot onsen baths, and I'm quite sure that my lovely blonde hair here is perfectly safe. Now, the fourth thing you're going to hate about coming to Japan is the trains. Yes, they're just way, way too fast. Now, in the United States, we've got Amtrak, which crawls along gradually at about 50 miles an hour, which allows you a lot of time to see the scenery and just to soak in the atmosphere of the countryside. But here, the trains just go 3 times as fast. The Shinkansen goes at 3 times that speed, and all you see is a blur. So the trains are a definite negative for visiting Japan. Now, the final thing you're going to hate about visiting Japan is the toilets. Now, to explain what I'm on about here, the Japanese have got very, very advanced toilets, and they've actually got built-in fire extinguishers. You just press a button and a stream of water will come out. Now, whoever heard, though, of a toilet catching fire? It's completely ridiculous. So that's another big negative for Japan. Okay, we've covered all the negatives about visiting Japan. Now we've got the 5 things that you're going to love about visiting Japan. And boy, these are great. The first is the friendliness of the people. Honestly, you will not meet up with more friendly or polite people anywhere in the world. Let me give you an example. Behind me here, as you can see, is Tokyo Tower. And just beforehand, an elderly gentleman came up and he pointed at the tower and he said, Skaya tree. And, how culturally aware is that? Yes, if you look at Tokyo Tower, it does look like a tree reaching up into the sky. What a fantastic way of seeing the world. It just amazes me. But anyway, it just illustrates how friendly and welcoming the people really are here in Japan. Right, now for the second thing that you're going to love about visiting Japan, and that is that here in Tokyo, it's one giant married car raceway. Yes, everywhere you look, you'll see 50cc red racing cars racing up and down, trying to knock down as many pedestrians as possible. Where else in the world could you do that? Now, the third thing you're going to love about Japan, and it's actually another reason why you shouldn't come here, is the food. The food is outstanding. It's like the Paris of the East, so to speak. But the downside of that is that you will eat and eat and eat and eat and expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and soon you won't fit back in the plane and you won't be able to go home. So if you seriously have a problem controlling what you eat, this is not the place you should come to at all. Now, the fourth thing you're going to love about coming to Japan is the sake. And yes, I'm talking about their famous rice wine. Now, here in Japan, you can get pretty ordinary sake, or you can get really, really good sake. But the fact of the matter is that after the third glass, you can't tell the difference anyway. The final thing you're going to love about visiting Japan is its traditional garments, and in particular I'm talking about its summer kimono known as the yukata. Now, the Japanese are absolutely mad about cats here, hence they decided to name this garment after cats. Kata, you look like a cat. Definitely a great souvenir to get if visiting Japan. Just go into any department store here in Tokyo and say you want to buy a yukata. The staff will know immediately what you want. And with that, those are the 5 things you're going to love and the 5 things you're going to hate about visiting Japan. But overall, provided you survive the dangerous animals and man-eating bananas, it's a great place to visit and I thoroughly recommend it. So keep those unlicensed subscriptions going and don't forget to like us on Facebook. Ciao.